Bruce Friedman of Adult Site Broker, and welcome to Adult Site Broker Talk, where each week we interview one of the movers and shakers of the adult industry, and we give you a tip on buying and selling websites. This week we'll be speaking with Tristan and Rutger of WeCamGirls. Adult Site Broker is proud to announce the launch of our new website, Adult Site Broker 3.0, at adultsitebroker.com. The look and feel of the new site is nice and up to date and easier to navigate. The new site also has links to our affiliate program, ASB Cash, and our new blog. Speaking of ASB Cash, we've doubled our affiliate payouts. Now, when you refer sellers or buyers to us at Adult Site Broker, you're going to receive 20% of our broker commission on any and all sales that result from that referral for life. You can either place a link to us on your site or refer buyers and sellers through an email introduction. ASB Cash is the first affiliate program for an adult website brokerage. Check out asbcash.com for more details and to sign up. Now let's feature our property of the week that's for sale at Adult Site Broker. Actually, our property of the week this week is a reminder that we always have some private listings available in addition to what you see on our website and in our newsletters. Right now, we have a cam site, dating sites, and pay sites available. We often have other types of sites as well. In these cases, the owner of the site is usually expressing the utmost care to make sure that the identity of their site or company doesn't get out for a variety of reasons. These are generally larger listings with big revenues. If you're interested in finding out more about our private listings, please complete our buyer's NDA on our website and contact us to see if you qualify. Now time for this week's interview. My guests today on Adult Site Broker Talk are Tristan and Rutger of WeCamGirls. Hey guys, thanks for being with us today on Adult Site Broker Talk.
Thank you for having us, Bruce.
Yes, thank you, Bruce. Hi.
It's a pleasure. Now, Tristan is married and has 2 young children. He's a lawyer by trade. He's been in the adult industry for over 10 years. He tried practicing law and didn't enjoy it, so he started a business with his friend Rutger. His hobbies are football, as he says, the real football, as in the one you play with your feet. Hey, they kick the ball in the NFL. Come on. Not the egg ball stuff from the U.S. He watches golf. He likes good food, and he likes Legos. I had it written, he watches golf, good food. I said, you watch good food? No, you like good food. Okay. And you eat Legos. Okay, there we go. Now, Rutger,
Nice.
Rutger is also married with 2 kids. He graduated with a master's in Econometrics.
Econometrics.
It says here Econometrics. Okay, we'll have to talk about that. He started building his first websites in the late 90s. I didn't know you were that old. His hobbies are basketball, sneakers, golf, good food, and Legos. Imagine that. You guys both like eating Legos. Okay, they both live in the same part of the Netherlands, not far from the beautiful city of Amsterdam. Damn, you guys have so much in common. You should be married, for Christ's sake. All right. They built a community for cam models in 2012. Even though it's called the WeCamGirls, they also have male models in the community. One day, a friend of theirs, who is a former webcam model, talked about her online experiences. When they asked her what she thought were the hardest parts of being a performer, she said 2 things. The first was she didn't like the fact that she couldn't talk to a lot of people about what she does for a living. Second thing was that not being able to do this caused her boredom. In March of 2012, WeCamGirls was born as a chat system and forum where performers can discuss the different sites and the latest tech. Since then, it's grown into a real community. They've added some additional features like a commercial profile page, camgirlcollective.com, and a review section. So how did you guys like your commercial there?
Wow. Is this us? Sounds so professional.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Yes, this is you. Okay, well, good. I do my best. So before we talk about WeCamGirls, I'd like to know more about you guys. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you met?
Yeah, how did we meet, Tris? It was, how long ago? Like 18 or 19 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
I was dating one of your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it goes. And she said, I have a friend who's also a computer nerd, so maybe you can talk to each other and see if you can do some business. And back in the day, there was not really room for that, but we found out we both liked poker. So we started doing poker together and became buddies. And here we are.
Tristan, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, we actually met on her birthday. Yeah, she was dating him, and we were having a chat, and it turned out that we had some things in common and some common interests, and then we started to play poker. And then, yeah, years later, Rutger asked me, "Do you want to start something together?" And that's how we started out.
Very good. So, what experience did you have, or did you have any experience in our business before you created WeCamGirls?
I started building websites in '97.
Okay.
And I found out that there was money to be made in adult. So I started creating some webcam white labels before there were white labels. So that's how I got into the whole industry.
Okay.
So that was like in 2001, I think. And I've been building websites ever since. So.
And Tristan, basically, Rutger corrupted you?
Absolutely. I didn't have any experience with this industry before, so the first year was actually learning a lot and getting to know the whole cam world. I didn't know what to expect, because when you first hear of models and webcams and stuff like that, and studios in Romania, I always imagined these dark dungeons where these girls were locked up on chains, forced to be on webcam. Well, that turned out to be different.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot, especially the first year, and after that, going to the first shows, and a whole new world opened up. My friend, of course, who gave me the initial idea, and I talked to her about it, but she was doing it from home, and there was always this world of webcam that I didn't know anything about. So especially in Romania. And so when we went to the first shows and got to know actual studios and stuff like that, it was totally different than from what I've imagined.
Sure. It was a real business.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so professional.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So how would you explain your site if you were telling someone about it who had no idea what WeCamGirls is?
So WeCamGirls is a social media network. It's a business-to-business community, in a sense,
right?
For webcam models. So there are no customers, there are no fans. They're not there to make money. They're there to exchange information, exchange tips, enjoy each other's company, and talk business. But also, you can talk about everything on the forum, from shoe shopping to philosophy. But there's also a lot of business talk, of course. What can I do to up my game? Do you have any suggestions for new sites or new ideas how to do my shows? It's a place where cam models hang out, where there are no customers, but just the models having interactive conversations with each other.
Okay. Rutger, you
So
have anything to add?
it's like a Facebook/LinkedIn forum. That's basically what it is.
Okay. Rutger, got anything to add?
No, I think that sums it up pretty well.
He articulated it wonderfully, didn't he?
Yes. Well, we've explained it before, of course.
Of course. So what was the main reason you decided to start the site 10 years ago, besides trying to get rich?
Besides getting rich.
Exactly.
When I started with the webcam white labels, I always found it fascinating to see that there's like a whole business behind the webcams. And then when a friend told us that she was in need of more help or more information about what she was doing, we thought, that's great to make. I've been creating communities before, so I started one in 2001. So it was already something I had some experience in.
Right.
And I thought, hey, why not do something for the webcam models and make it more business to business instead of just a place to have fun, but also more like information. and that turned out very well.
Yeah. There's really nothing like what you guys have, is there? I mean, there are model forums, but with everything that's on WeCamGirls, I don't think there's anything else like it, is there?
I don't think there is. We have some competition or
Mm-hmm.
other communities, but like you said, it's mostly only forums.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of our unique selling points is that we're shut it off for customers. So it's really only for models and not for
Right.
customers. So we try to create a safe haven for them where
Mm-hmm.
they can discuss everything they want. We have
Right.
a verification system to make sure that everybody on our platform is really in the adult industry
Mm-hmm.
and not a fan or customer, say, just trying to sign up.
Right.
So we have different levels of security within our system to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that if you're talking to other models, you can be sure that only models can read it, not even the website owners.
And how do you make sure?
Like I said, we have a verification system.
Okay.
So we have several ways a model can verify their account.
Right.
Normally, they send something on their Twitter account, and we make
Right.
sure that's a Twitter account of someone that's been around in the webcam industry for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Or they can send a link to their webcam profile, and if they say something about WeCamGirls on their profile, we know it's them, and that makes us sure that's a real model.
Do a lot of fans try to sign up?
Yeah, but most are doing that by accident, I think.
Oh.
And when you sign up, we have a couple of questions. And the first question is, are you a model or are you a customer or a fan? And as soon as you say, I'm a customer, then you get an automatic IP ban. So you won't be able to again. And we send you to a campsite to make some money off you.
So do you have like an exploding sound or something like that? Or a flushing
Oh,
sound?
but that sounds cool. We should do that.
I've heard that on radio shows before when there's a caller, especially like sports talk shows where there's a caller who's just a real jerk off. And, different hosts do different things, different sound effects. Sometimes it's a flush of a toilet. Sometimes it's a big explosion.
Yeah, we
Sometimes it's
try
a
to keep it
horn.
close because the customer is not a jerk. He's in the end he's the one paying for everybody.
Of course.
So
Of course.
we try to treat everybody fair,
Sure.
but we don't allow him on WeCamGirls.
Very good. Well, maybe you need to set up an adjoining forum for fans.
Yeah, we talked about it and we discussed it. There are lots more sites out there that do already that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So we just try to expand in different ways.
Sure. Stay with what works, right?
Yeah, but also we've been working on some new projects, and so we're trying to cover more parts of the adult industry besides gaming.
Tell me about it.
One of our latest projects is We Porn Stars.
Mm-hmm.
It's a similar community like WeCamGirls, but the target group in this case is talent, porn talent.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought it might be interesting to set up a site for adult creators, for talent who do porn.
Sure.
And of course, the market is a little bit smaller. I mean, I think there are way more webcam models than there are porn stars of porn talent.
Porn stars, yes. Creators, no.
There is overlap, of course, because cam girls are creators. Most of
our
the cam girls
are porn
creators,
stars too. Yeah,
and porn stars too.
right.
But I think there's a difference between going to create content yourself, doing it on your phone or at home, and when you go to an actual studio where you have a camera crew and a director. And so I think there's that part of the industry is different. There are not many cam girls who will go into porn, as in go make a movie on a set.
Sure.
But the other way around, there's more, because porn stars, especially if they already built their fan base, and webcamming is a good way to be in contact with your fans. And
yes.
I think as a porn star, especially if you're a bit famous, there are a lot of people who actually want to interact with you.
Sure, absolutely. So
We
how's
also
that project going?
It's going. We are also working on a new one, and that one is called WeCamGirls.
There you go.
And WeCamGirls is basically a site for content creators, for adult content creators,
Sure.
because content creation is booming at the moment. Of course, everybody
Big time.
knows that, and there are a lot of content creators, but not all of them are webcamming.
True.
And or actual porn stars. So
Right.
of course there's an overlap between the three sites. But I think doing this new site, WeCamGirls, it will be. There is a really big group that can really benefit from it.
Sure. And I would think the crossover between the three areas will help you promote all three sites.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great.
And that makes it easier to start for us, because when we started WeCamGirls, I mean, that was tough. It was,
Sure.
We were just two weird Dutch guys that were trying to get girls to their website. So
everybody was hesitant to sign up.
Sure.
I mean, everybody was afraid that we wanted something from their income or from their pie, or from, how do you want to say it? So, and before you get your site rolling, I mean, building a community is pretty hard. You need content to get new visitors, but to get new content, you need new visitors. So it's a paradox, but it's also a snowball, when it starts rolling.
I love snowballing.
It's when it starts rolling, it just grows better, faster,
Sure.
and bigger, faster.
Yeah. Over the last 10 years, there have been many things that have heavily influenced the cam industry. What do you think has changed the industry most in that time?
In the last 10 years?
Yeah.
I think that's the interactive toys.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure of it. I think that's the biggest change that has happened in the last 10 years. Yeah, because everybody uses these toys now. And if you want it or not, you will have to use it because everybody else is using it too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's good or a bad thing, but I think it is one of the things that has changed the industry a lot.
Sure.
And of course, there have been other changes: better quality cameras, better sound, better picture, faster internet connections.
Big time.
But other big changes that I'd expected, like the VR, it's not really happening yet. They've been talking about it for the last 8 years.
Yes.
And some sites experiment with it, but it's not a thing yet.
Right.
So I think this is the biggest change in the last 10 years are the interactive sex toys.
Sure.
Because it wasn't there before.
Right.
And there are not many changes. I mean, some of these sites look exactly the same as as they looked 10 years ago.
Yes, we know who you're talking about.
So of course
the richest guy, Leo, we love you.
So yeah, but I think there will be some interesting new changes in the future.
Absolutely.
But at the moment, I think the cam industry is pretty conservative for a tech industry, because basically the camming industry is also a tech industry. But I think it's pretty conservative.
Yeah, I would agree. So over the years, the community you've built has been honored with numerous awards. What do you think makes WeCamGirls such a strong and engaged community?
Well, mostly because we don't have lots of competition, so that makes it easy for us.
Yes.
But besides that, I think one of our strong points is that we always try to keep the models in the first place. So, for example, of course, we have a lot of requests from campsites that want to advertise with us. But we always stick to the rule: no more than 6 advertisers at the same time, just to make sure that it's not bombarded with banners and that we send out mail blasts every day. We try to find a balance between making money and the models at their platform. They're also on WeCamGirls just to hang out with others, and they don't want to be bombarded with advertisements or every new cam platform there is. So I think that's one of our disadvantages.
Have you guys thought about a membership model that's ad-free?
Oh yeah. Well, ad-free, I don't think anybody will pay for that. But we thought about having like a freemium model where you can buy like a golden membership. Yeah, it's been on our to-do list for like almost also 10 years. The problem is we find it difficult to find stuff that's really making a difference between a free membership and a paid membership. And as soon as we think of something that's really interesting and we think, oh, models maybe will pay for that, then we think, oh, that would be great if you can provide it to everybody. At the moment, we're just saying we keep it free for everybody, and then we only have the advertisers that pay us money. And it works out very, very well. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But maybe sometime you never know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, we thought about it and discussed it like every year, I think, for the past 10 years.
And then went, nah.
Yeah, but then you do it like the mathematics, and then you find out, okay, we can do it, and it will make you, I don't know, $1,000 a month. And then we think, is that worth it?
No.
Not only for us to build it, but also to say to some models, oh, you haven't paid, so you won't be able to have this and this feature. I don't know.
Nah, if it's $1,000 a month, then I would think that.
Yeah, because you can't charge them like $100 a month.
No.
So if you
charge, how many models in your database now?
Yeah, we have 30,000. But if you, or maybe even 35, I don't know. But if you charge them, I don't know, like $4 or $5, and 200 of them join, or maybe 400, you know, you're talking about $1,000-$2,000.
Right.
I don't know if that's enough to build it but because the difference then is you have paying customers, and paying customers, they can say, oh, this is not working, or that's not working, and you get hassle, and we don't like hassle.
I can just tell you from my knowledge of what creators pay for their advertising and what creators make, I don't think you're going to have a problem with small amounts of money, even if you're talking $10 or $20 a month. That's just my take. If you guys want to talk offline about it, we can certainly do it. But I got to tell you, there's some massive amounts of money being spent on creator advertising on some platforms.
Yeah, but then the problem is you need something to offer them. And we try to offer it to everybody to have like the community. Then you have to build a complete set of new tools for them. And it's almost like you're building a new company, which you could do. But we haven't found the right software yet that's missing in the industry.
Interesting. Okay. You guys will continue to, I'm sure, strategize.
Oh, absolutely.
How has COVID impacted? You got to have a COVID question, right? It's kind of mandatory. How has COVID impacted your community and the chem industry as a whole?
I think when we're talking at the beginning of COVID, we saw a pretty big impact actually on our site. We saw a lot of new members signing up, people that were losing their jobs and that were looking for alternatives to make some money and to get information. So we saw a spike at the beginning of COVID. A lot of new members, people that were interested in maybe doing webcamming, getting information, asking questions. There was a lot of uncertainty, especially in specific parts in the world, and a lot of new US members. Most of the members on WeCamGirls are US members. Over half.
Makes sense.
About 30-40% is Western Europe and a little bit of Eastern Europe. But the main geo of the members of WeCamGirls is all Western orientated.
Right.
And of course, there was a bit more uncertainty for people in the US, I guess, when they were talking about their jobs. So you saw quite a spike of new members from the US joining WeCamGirls, getting information, looking up how to start, and maybe to find a way to earn some extra income. But it was temporarily. But also, There were people looking for a job, but there were also more visitors going to campsites because everybody was at home, I guess.
Of course.
When I talk to campsites about COVID, they talk about how they have more customers and more shows and people visiting them more.
Yeah. Well, that makes good sense.
Yeah, COVID had an impact, but it was temporarily, then I think, and it's getting back to normal. It's already back to normal, I think.
So I see you guys often at the trade shows. What do you think about these shows, and which ones are your favorites?
We love the trade shows. It's so great to talk to like-minded people. It's almost like you're hanging out with your family. Which shows do we like best? The shows in Romania and the European summits. Those are the
TES. Yeah.
And it's not that it's the business-wise the best shows. They are, but it's more like the people that are going to those shows. Those are the best people there are. So
the cool kids.
Yeah, we've been going to the shows now for almost 10 years. So you build friendships with people, and
absolutely.
And it always feels like coming home in a sense when I go to a show and you see everybody. And the first few hours, you're just walking around and just having quick chats with everybody and say hi and say, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
No, I really love to go to the shows, and parties help too.
I'm too old for that.
For me,
I'm too old for that shit. I'm too old for that shit. I've been for a while, actually. But now I'll say something, and I'm sincere about it. People like you guys are what really make the shows, And you're right. We are family. There's just no two ways about it. This is family. Yeah. And this is more family than my own family at times. It really is.
Yeah, I thought it was the worst thing about COVID was not being able to go to shows.
Yeah, I agree. It sucked. So, guys, what would you have done if you weren't in this industry?
Wow. Well, I studied econometrics, so probably some boring job with numbers at an office in a suit. So yeah, I'm happy.
You'd have to cut your hair, man.
No, nobody will recognize me then.
That's funny.
And Tristan would be a lawyer, of course.
Yes, he would.
Well, after I finished university, I actually did a couple of job interviews because I was specialized in Islamic and Christian terrorism.
Interesting.
So one of my first job interviews was with Dutch Secret Service. It was fascinating. I just sent him a message. I just applied. There was no job opening, so I just sent them an email. Hey, I'm looking for a job. If you have anything, just let me know. And a couple of months later, they actually contacted me and said, hey, we have a job opening for an intelligence officer. So I said, oh, cool. And they said me, it was all official and you can talk about it. You can't even say that you have an interview somewhere. So I went to the job interview and to this bunker building normally when you have a big building, you have a nice entrance. This place didn't have a nice entrance. It was a side entrance with all different parts that you had to pass through. And this was all concrete and I was sitting there, and there were 6 people sitting in front of me, just asking me questions. But they knew everything about me anyway.
I'm sure they did. Yeah,
and I fucked that interview up. I mean, it was one of my first job interviews ever, and I could have done a lot better. But it would have been interesting if they would actually have hired me, and
hell yeah,
I would be a spy.
I like it. It's kind of like 007 or Maxwell Smart.
Yeah, I think it would be more not in the field, but
you know who Maxwell Smart is, right?
No.
And what was think of what the TV show was, and they made a movie out of it. Oh, Get Smart.
It's in the 60s.
Yeah, but the movie was a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. I think they had.
It's in 65.
Who's that actor from The Office? He played Maxwell Smart.
Oh, really?
I gotta watch it.
Michael.
I've never seen it. Yeah, I gotta watch it. Watch it. It sounds, it sounded like fun. But I love the original show. I've actually been binge watching old shows lately. I'm in almost towards the end of a show called, which you probably never heard of, and it was also before your time. Everything's before your time. A show called
Dude,
a
normally
show.
we're the old ones.
Yeah,
But
exactly. A show called Barney Miller. Yeah, but you can't out old me. And Barney Miller was a great show about New York detectives. And oh my God, just great shit. Great shit. Anyway, I digress. How would you describe yourself? We'll start with Tristan. And what is your area of expertise?
Okay, how would I describe myself?
Yeah. What did you tell those guys at the interview?
I think that really sucked because they didn't hire me.
Right.
They said I sucked. So, how would I describe myself? I would describe myself as a friendly, easygoing person with a dark sense of humor who doesn't always read the room correctly. So, I'm making inappropriate jokes at the wrong time.
I see.
And which makes them even more funny. And my area of expertise, I think, is just interacting with people, basically, because that's what I do. As well as the shows as online, and
Right.
just thinking of new stuff that we can do, just all the stuff that Rutger is not doing.
that pretty much sums up our relationship.
There you go. There you go. How about you, Rutger? How would you?
I think we're pretty much the same kind of people. Really laid back, or at least I think I am. Not too fancy, and some weird kind of humor. So there's a reason Tristan and I are friends. And my expertise is more the programming.
Right.
So I'm the nerd. And stuff I don't like, I send it to Tristan and I say, make sure, can you do that please? Because I don't feel like it.
There you go.
That's how we work. And then he bugs me with all kinds of development questions about, I don't know, avatars that can be rotated or stuff. I think it's not important.
Well, it obviously works. It obviously works.
Yeah,
I think we complement each other.
There you go.
With work-wise, so that's great.
You compliment each other. You walk in the office and say, Tristan, you look great today. Rutger, you look wonderful. Yeah, yes, I got it. I got it. That's what you do.
Very,
we're getting
very sharp.
We're getting silly. So not that any of us aren't. So what's your view on the cam industry in general?
Before we started WeCamGirls, we didn't know much about the industry. And the longer I stayed in this industry, the more I went to the shows and got to know people, the more I realized I didn't know. And but I think we've learned a lot in the last 10 years, and we know pretty well how the industry works now. And I think it's, first of all, the industry is really small in a sense that there are not that many people working in this industry that are not the webcam models. So the businesses behind the industry, it's a pretty small world. I mean, when you go to enough shows, you see all the people and you realize, well, it's pretty tight. It's a pretty tight knit, which makes it, as a business in the industry, I think it's nice.
Yeah.
You get to know people, a lot of companies, a lot of people, but after a few years, you actually know sort of everybody, which makes it very easy to interact and to, if you're looking for something, you know where to go and who to find and who to talk to.
Sure.
And
go ahead.
It's the industry itself. I mean, I think it's the biggest part of adult, and it's way bigger than all the other parts.
True.
And they're making a lot more money. Maybe the adult content creation will catch up.
Maybe it already has.
Maybe it already has.
Yeah.
But not yet. I mean, there are only a few fan sites that do a lot of money. Sure. And there are more cam sites that do a lot of money.
Well, you make a point.
And especially after the tube sites, of course, they sort of destroyed porn in a sense.
They tried. I don't think they've destroyed it, but
no, they. I mean, porn before the tube sites was maybe 80%, and now it's 10% or something. I think tube sites, at least it changed porn.
They've cut
It- it-
well.
the-
They've cut well into it, but the top membership sites are still doing well. And my feeling about that is the good ones will continue to succeed and continue to grow. And as a website broker, I see the growth every day because I look at the numbers. And I also know the type of site that isn't going to grow. And that's the type that doesn't innovate, that doesn't try to be different. If somebody stays unique and they stay on top of the game, they're going to do very well. And what the tube sites did, the ones they destroyed the people who were just kind of getting by on the fat of the land. They were just like, yeah, whatever. We're making so much money, it doesn't matter. Well, guess what? It mattered.
Well, yeah, I totally agree. But the people who are willing to pay for porn now are way less, because before this,
It's
that
true.
it was the only way to get porn, and now a lot of it is free. So you have a different market, and I
Hmm.
think I think it has a huge impact on the quality of porn.
Sure.
Because
Absolutely.
if you buy porn, it needs to be good quality.
Nowadays, people are more paying for a connection with somebody than
Yes.
just for the
Yes.
porn itself. Because
Right.
why would you pay for porn if you can see it for free? So now you're paying to have a connection with the creator, with the cam model,
Yes.
or the porn model. So I think that's a big difference.
Yep. Interactivity. That's the name of the game, and it's
Yeah.
been for quite a long time now.
Yeah, and I think that's also what sets camming apart
Mhm.
from the other parts of the adult industry,
Sure.
because there's nothing at the moment that can replace this human interaction.
Right.
Maybe in a few years, when you have bots, for example, or when you're
Sex robots.
but I mean bots in the sense of that when you're talking to somebody online, you have no clue if this is a real person or if this
Right.
is a bot. I
It's
mean,
already there, unfortunately.
yeah, and then especially if the visuals catch up, then there could be a way to replace at least a bit of the industry with going to talk to bots instead
Mhm.
of actual people. Of
Right.
course, people will always be looking and talking to other people in the first place, but
Sure.
maybe that will have an impact in the future when you have bots and avatars doing the cam shows instead of people.
I don't think so. I think then it's the same that you have when you can say to a bot, do this or do that, and
Mhm.
the bot will do that, or the avatar. I think that's the same as like a porn,
Mhm.
and people are still willing to pay to have a connection with a real human being.
Sure.
And even if you
If you'll
can't,
be able to tell the difference.
yeah, even if you can't tell the difference, people are still not willing to pay for bots. Or at least that's my opinion on it.
Well, maybe it's
Because it's also about power. And if you
Mhm.
are talking, it doesn't make you feel powerful if you talk to a bot or if you say to a bot, do this or do that.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
I don't think that well, obviously a little part will be replaced by it, but not very
Sure.
much. I think.
make the avatars perfect though. You can
Yeah,
make
but
them perfect for somebody. How they look. You can give them wings if you would like.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you can mix it up.
Sure.
wings. Maybe
Oh
we
my
should
goodness.
do this podcast in 10 years again and see who's right.
You're not going to wait 10 years to get back on. It took me 2 years plus to get you on. What tips do you guys have for new cam models?
Go to WeCamGirls.com, sign up,
Mhm.
and learn from others before you start doing the work. Because there's so much to learn, and it
Yes.
makes your work so much easier if you know what you're doing.
Right.
Especially in the beginning, there's so many customers that are out there just to make advantage of newbies.
Mm,
So
it's true.
please know what you're doing.
Mm.
Learn from other models. Don't take
Right.
our word from it. We don't know anything, but learn from your peers. Remember that you're your own boss. So
Mhm.
make sure you only do things that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, information is key. I
Right.
mean, when you get into this industry, learn.
Yes.
And
I was telling somebody
learn.
that earlier today, actually.
There are a lot of people who have been making mistakes, and you don't have
Mhm.
to repeat these mistakes. You can
Yeah.
just by learning what other people did, you can avoid a lot of things. Because
Sure.
there are a lot of people out there who have interests in making money and getting a piece of your income, and there's no need for that.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
when you
absolutely.
and when you decide to start out, there are a lot of things to consider. I think most of the models who start getting into cam, their main reason is money. And
Mm-hmm.
webcamming it's not easy money in the sense that you
Yeah,
will
I've
make
tried it.
Oh,
in the
goodness.
sense that you earn a quick buck. Most of the models that are successful that spend half of their time in marketing themselves.
Yes.
And when you start the whole goal of being a model is creating a fan base. You need people that are there for you, that want to
Sure.
see you on a regular basis, and these are the
Yes.
people who will make your money, who will make you
Yeah.
money.
The whales. Yeah.
Yeah, and people they want people in general, they go to a campsite with no specific purpose. They probably won't spend any money on you, but when they are looking for you, they will,
And
because
people will spend a lot of money on campsites.
oh, absolutely, and they will spend it on the same people.
Sure.
They're not spreading it around on a lot of girls that they just see. They want to build a connection,
Sure.
and when they build
Virtual
a connection,
girlfriend.
yeah, a lot
Exactly.
of absolutely. You
Yeah,
don't have to be
absolutely.
successful in the sense of you just have to be successful in connecting with people.
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
can do that,
Mm-hmm.
then you can be successful as a cam model.
Sounds good. Well, guys, it was a pleasure. I'd like to thank you again for being
Thank
our
you for
guest.
having us. You were
Thank you.
our first podcast we did, so thank you to go easy on us.
I try to take it easy on virgins. So thank you
Yes,
for being on Adult Site Broker Talk. And I hope we'll get a chance to do this again soon.
absolutely.
Thank you.
My broker tip today is part 10 of what to do to make your site more valuable for when you decide to sell it later. Last week, we talked about what information to give a potential buyer and what determines the value of a site. We'll continue that today. If a site hasn't been monetized, then it's all about the amount and the quality of the traffic. If a sale is based on traffic, it will be a multiple of what the traffic would sell for on the open market. What are the sources of traffic? Direct traffic, search engine traffic, and review site traffic are the most valuable, tube traffic the least valuable. Is the traffic reliable and sustainable? What is the traffic history? In a rare case, the valuation will be based upon revenue. The same factors apply to that as of profit, and the valuations will, of course, be lower than those of profits. How old is the site? Is the domain a .com or something else? .com is still king. How many inbound links are there? How much staff does it take to run the site? How many email addresses do you have? In the case of a dating site, this is very important. Another factor can be the reverse engineering cost. How much would it cost to build the site from scratch and drive the same amount of traffic to it, and how much time would be involved? What is the lifetime value of a customer on the site? Next week, we'll talk about how to buy a website. And next week, we'll be speaking with Allison Bowden of the Free Speech Coalition. And that's it for this week's Adult Site Broker Talk. I'd once again like to thank my guests, Tristan and Rutger of WeCamGirls. Talk to you again next week on Adult Site Broker Talk. I'm Bruce Friedman.